people do I have to see set free? I'll do whatever it takes, you see. Somebody please tell me, when do I get to come home?
When do I get to come home? I was reading an article about, it was a sister talking about how many times her brother had been over. I think he was on his 4th tour. And then I read a study about the average combat, the days in combat from like the Civil War through World War I and World War II and Korea and Vietnam. And I'm going to fudge the figures, but it was something like, it was 47 days a year of combat for Civil War soldiers. And then that went up even all the way through World War II. Maybe it was in an average year the guy saw 61 days of combat or something like that. And I think in this modern conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan, I think some of the troops were seeing 100+ days of combat, you know, out of 365 days. That's just too much for any human being to take. And then guys that have gone back 3 and 4 tours. And I'm not trying to get into whether that's right or wrong. I wanted to try to give voice to what I thought those men and women would feel like. And then also sort of pointing the finger to especially sort of the talking heads on television that get on and talk about whether it's right and whether it's wrong, and want to sort of weigh in on all these opinions about military and things like that. And that's fine, and that's sort of where that line about, you know, I'm sure it's fun to talk about when your work day ends at 5. And that's what I feel like so many of those chatterboxes on television do. They just get on there and they talk and they talk and they talk to the point where it's just meaningless. To say defend and serve our country is one thing, but to, I guess, not ever really know when does that end and when you get to really come home is something that would be a real tough thing to deal with on a daily basis. And you know, I hope they all get to come home sooner than later.
How many more people do I have to see set free?